Here I'm going to tie patch rubber legs on a size 8 nymph hook. Pretty much any of them work. I'm wrapping this in lead-free wire. I like to use a good bit. Sometimes I'll even use more than this because I really like it to get down in the water column quickly. In a fly like this, you want it to be oriented straight up and down generally, so it'll just sit straight up and down with the more wraps. Could be a little bit wasteful, but I like it because I won't have to use as much split shot ideally. And I'll end up having this as my point fly a lot. So after you get that tied in with however many wraps you want, kind of start the thread here using 140 denier UTC, clipping the tag in here with your scissors. And then I'm going to get some floss, and I like to use that as opposed to the regular leg material. They just seem to have a nice natural buggy look to them. So just get a few wraps started, and then you can orient them better after you get a little lock-in point there. I tie the one in front so they'll have a little spot to prop them up away from the eye. Once they're pretty much oriented, you can advance your thread back, or you can cut it off. Either way, I just felt lazy, so I just wrapped it down onto the hook. I'm going to use some orange-black chenille here. Going to take a little bit off the end here and gives you a nice anchor point, so when you're tying it in, it'll bite really well. Here I should have had less thread out. It'd have been easier to tie these loops, but it was good enough. Whenever you're tying these, I generally like to leave it connected to the chenille so I don't end up wasting it. Here I forgot to tie the legs in first. I should have done that, but I can just kind of orient them properly and I'll wrap around them later. And I'm trying to decide, well, should I do this? No, I'm just going to leave it because it'll be more of a pain to restart. So take three separate legs here. You could tie these in individually. However, it'll end up being a lot more work and it'll only look maybe like 10% better. So I like to just tie kind of a figure 8 wrap here just to kind of lock them in sideways. Try to, maybe these ones seem to really want to point back, so I kind of tie like a little bit of a loose loop right on these front 2 legs, so that way they'll sort of want to be forward a little bit. Get them sort of close, and it'll orient them better whenever you wrap the chenille. So I'm tying this up toward the front, advance. I'm going to tie a half hitch right here with my fingers. You could whip finish if you want, but it's not really needed at this point. To save bulk, I do this. And then that's hanging on your thread tender there. Now we're going to spiral this chenille up without messing up the tail. And going to advance forward here. My rotary vise is a very big help here, although I forget to use that feature for a moment. Then I remember, oh yeah, I can just spin this. So just don't let the legs get caught under there. Just start wrapping. I could have done a better job of getting this more even, but the trout won't mind, so I'm fine with this. It can be a bit of a time-consuming fly, really, for as simple as it looks. But as you're wrapping forward, just try to separate the back 2, put a wrap of chenille between them, and the legs will look really funky right here for a little bit. That's okay, as long as the chenille is actually between the right legs. And see, I'm a little bit bulky in the front from that lead wraps in the beginning, but that's all right. Sometimes the head's bigger than the lower abdomen of the fly anyway. So I'm just going to secure this with a few wraps here. Tried to do it that way, it didn't work, kind of came loose. So again, I do this to just save as much chenille as possible, because yeah, that's annoying that it wrapped around there, but I can just cut it right off. It's not a big deal. Try not to cut the antenna off and get mad. So that's free. Now move that out of the way. Now I can kind of secure the rest of it down. And I'm gonna go ahead and get that nice and tight, and then I'm gonna whip finish here before I readjust the legs. Just a few turns is good. My thread's kind of coming apart there, but it'll still lock in just fine. Okay, give that a nice tug, snip it free here. Now we're gonna try to get these legs to cooperate a little bit, and they can be a pain sometimes. But again, this is still preferred in my opinion, because whenever you individually tie them in, you have to do figure 8 wraps 3 different times. And it's, yeah, it'll look really nice for like the showcase, but this will catch fish just fine. Kind of snip these legs off, just however, whatever you're feeling. I kind of do like a hook shank in length, and the other side, match it. And there you have it. Patch rubber legs, ready to fish.